you're not working hard enough, or you're not sacrificing enough, or you don't want it enough, unless you are quitting your job, or you're waking up at 5 a.m. and meditating and doing all of these things and just constantly working towards this big goal. It starts to feel incredibly overwhelming, that then you start to become isolated, because your actual reality with what's going on in terms of like your family, your relationships, your friendships, all of these kind of things, they kind of get forgotten about, because you're so focused on the reality over here that you're desperately wanting to create and thinking that I need to do more, I need to fix myself, practice self-care in order to get to this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time joining me. Welcome. My name is Hetty and I post videos all about health, wellness, spirituality and mindset, and basically just living your best life as the best version of you. So I wanted to again film another sit down video, and I wanted to talk about something that's quite personal to me. Fairly recently, this is something that I've kind of transitioned through myself, and I feel like it's maybe a bit of a topic that other people will resonate with, and I just enjoy posting these kind of videos. So if it does help anyone, it makes me incredibly happy. So if you do like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more of these kind of videos. If you have any suggestions or ideas on future videos you'd like me to film, be sure to put them in the comments, or you can follow me on Instagram. All my details will be down in the description box below, so feel free to read. To be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea what I'm going to call this video and kind of like the overall theme of this video, what it's going to be. I just feel like I've got kind of a lot of things that I'd like to get off my chest and kind of talk about, and we're just gonna see how it goes and where it leads to. So I feel like I'm going to talk about obviously my personal experience and what I've kind of been going through a little bit. I'm not going to overshare too much, but I wanted to talk about the topic of personal development and achieving your goals, and obviously this being something that I'm very, very passionate myself. I love, helping and empowering other people to achieve their big goals and go for their dreams and create a dream lifestyle for themselves. And I think it's really great to fully believe in yourself and fully go all in on things that you really want to achieve. However, most recently, I feel like it's important to talk about the relation between going for and achieving your big goals and dreams and manifesting your dream desires and your dream life, with how it can turn quite negative, or what we are seeing in the media can make us feel quite negative towards that, and how it can actually affect our mental health. Because obviously mental health is a big part of something that I like to talk about, and something that I like to help people with as well, because I think it's overall spirituality and mindset and working on these different kinds of things, it all plays a bigger part in our mental health and our mental well-being. Living our best life has got to fulfill all areas of our life and also empower us and feel good as a whole. It's all about, it's great, manifesting your dream life, but if you feel like shit the whole way in getting there, then is it really your dream life? I think all of these kind of things we need to piece together to realise that going for your goals can have also an impact, and watching the state of your mental health throughout the journey of achieving big goals. So I suppose that's kind of like the overall topic that I want to talk about and where this video is going to go. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit down, get comfortable, and we'll chat. So as I was saying, I feel like for a large portion of my life, particularly like when I was at school, I was never like the cool kid. I was never super popular, and I never really had much confidence in myself. And then overall throughout my teens, I started to develop more into myself. I became very interested in mindset and self-development and health and fitness, which again I wasn't into when I was at school. And obviously when you're at school, you have this kind of identity that people recognize you as, And I suppose I was really excited and proud of myself that I kind of grew out of that myself, and I kind of redeveloped myself in a sense that I believe that I rebuilt myself. I worked on myself a hell of a lot. I worked on my mindset. I worked on my health and fitness. And yes, it developed into other issues and other problems like my eating disorder and stuff like that. But again, I feel like overall I've had this journey that's been very, very up and down, which all kind of has a related theme of just working on yourself and becoming the best version of you, and just overcoming those limiting beliefs and limiting stories and limiting identities that you might have had growing up or when you was at school and that sort of thing. And I feel like it was really empowering for me to kind of work on that. And and this is why I absolutely love personal development, because you can literally change yourself. You can change your story of who you thought you was always going to be and what other people thought you was going to be. And you can actually decide, actually, no, that's not what I want anymore. You can decide, that's not what I want anymore. I want a better life for myself, or I want a better health, better for myself as a whole in my life. And you get to decide. And I think that's the most empowering thing, that you get to decide. A biggest belief for me is that your life isn't just set and it's just set in stone. You get to decide, and you get to work on yourself in whatever area you want. I suppose, because I've always had that love for self-development and working on myself and improving myself, and not only that, but also helping other people do the same, being a personal trainer, that is part of my job. I absolutely love empowering people to show them, actually, one day when you walked in the gym, you thought in your mind you wasn't able to do certain things, and then here you are months on, you're able to lift heavier than what you ever have. You built strength, you feel more empowered, you feel healthier within yourself, or you've achieved big fitness goals for yourself. And that is absolutely what I love, and I thrive off that, and helping other people to see that for themselves. However, I think I love social media. I think there's obviously so many benefits to it. However, I feel like there's a big part of social media now, particularly Instagram, and well, I suppose all of it. I don't personally have TikTok, but I imagine that it's down in that route too. But I feel like there's a whole new collective idea that we have to be the absolute best we can be, which is obviously great, but there's a big kind of wave of personal development and achieving huge goals, whether it be becoming an entrepreneur, running your own business, becoming an influencer, hitting it big off YouTube, whatever it is, or buying your first house, making your first 6 figures, whatever. That I almost feel like it's kind of taken the vulnerability of people that want to just genuinely improve who they are and become better people for themselves and achieve big goals that they have. However, it's now sort of turned into something that it's almost, I don't want to say it's pressure, because I suppose it's how we interpret things, but I know for me personally, when I exposed to these things daily about becoming an entrepreneur, and you're seeing all of these younger people who have made it huge, they're living their best life ever, they're living their dream life, they're earning loads of money, they're doing what they absolutely love, and they're doing it from, the age of sometimes as younger as 14, and they're doing it younger and younger now, whereas before it was obviously older. We can run into issues or problems where we can start to compare ourselves, and I suppose ultimately that is what it comes down to, comparing ourselves to other people and thinking like, I should be that further along, or because I've got this desire to improve myself. We're seeing these things all the time, and we're thinking, I'm not good enough unless I own my own business. I'm not good enough, or I don't feel successful if I'm not earning X amount every month, or if I've not bought my dream house yet, if I'm not working as an entrepreneur or running my own business or buying my dream car, I've not made it yet. And I think that's kind of where I'm going with this, because the Instagram particularly and other social media platforms, we're literally being exposed to all the time, like constantly. It's like this hustle mentality that you know, you need to be working on yourself 24/7. You need to be working on your manifestations all the time. You need to be working on your mindset if you want to achieve this big goal. You need to be creative. You need to take time out if you want to succeed. You need to decide what you want, decide what niche you want to work in, what do you want for your YouTube channel, all these kind of things. And it's so much noise that's going on, and that we're constantly seeing all these people making it big, and we're just looking at ourselves, and it can then just dawn on us and make us feel like we're so far behind to everybody else. And I know for me personally, that's how I was feeling. And I was literally, a few months ago, I was completely burnt out. And I'm not saying I'm completely over it yet. I'm definitely still working on it, but I'd completely burnt myself out because I was so overwhelmed and overwhelming myself with so many different responsibilities and saying yes to everything, and trying to almost keep up with this quick, fast lifestyle of creating it big for myself and making the dream life happen, so to speak, and trying so hard to achieve all of these big goals. Like, for instance, I think the biggest thing that I see and that I personally have struggled with, so I also, as well as a personal trainer and online coach, I also work at a full-time job as well. And that's something that I'm really, really grateful for, and I absolutely love it as well. However, I wouldn't say it's necessarily my dream career, but it's given me so many amazing opportunities and literally such a great, fulfilling job. However, I was noticing that I was starting to judge myself for still working a full-time job, because I was being exposed to all of these, influencers or online coaches, successful people in the media that have their own businesses, and they're like, you need to quit your job if you want to be successful, and, you need to start taking it more seriously if that's what you want to do. And I was finding it really difficult because at the same time, my full-time job has given me so much financial security, and I guess really I was really judging myself for still being in a full-time job, because again, it was like that narrative of, well, you're not successful until you've quit your job, until you've made your dream passion and career, making that full-time or being a full-time coach, etc. And I think, again, that's something that we see a lot in the media, and, there's just constant expectations to be so far along, and that we're looking at other people, and it makes us feel, I think, less grateful for what we have. So I suppose from my point of view and my experience, I was literally so tunnel vision on, I need to quit my job and I need to make it big in whatever area that I want to make my full-time career my goal. And I'm not successful until I've quit my job. And it's almost like I started to disregard my full-time job and absolutely hated it by the end of it, because I was pushing so much resistance on it that it's not my dream and it's not what I want, or it's not what I envision success to be, because perhaps, I'm not saying it's all, but because perhaps I'm being exposed to all these things on social media, that the dream and the successful career is when you've quit your job and you're working for yourself full time. That's the kind of messaging that I was personally getting, and that I was starting to believe, and that naturally, as a byproduct of that, I was then starting to resist my job and kind of resent it as well, because I was being shown all of these people that had, made it and was really, really successful and was quitting their jobs. And here was me still working a full-time ordinary job whilst trying to make it big, or trying to fulfill my career or my goal as being a full-time online coach. And I think that's when we start to come into comparison and start to compare ourselves to those people. And I think sometimes the messaging behind, although I'm not saying all of the messaging is intentionally bad, but I think sometimes that messaging that is kind of being portrayed as, you know, you're not working hard enough, or you're not sacrificing enough, or you don't want it enough, unless you are, you know, quitting your job, or you're doing all of these things all of the time, and you're waking up at 5 a.m. and meditating and doing all of these things and just constantly working towards this big goal. It starts to feel incredibly overwhelming, and you start to, what was happening to me is that I was starting to feel quite isolated in terms of like my actual life, because I think I was then becoming an illusion, this dream life that I was creating for myself, and my actual life of where I was right there, that I was kind of resisting where I was, because I almost wanted to be there so bad, because I was looking at all of these things on social media and just hating where I was. I think a lot of this has got to do with like comparison and resisting where you are, that you're kind of pushing away your actual reality or your physical reality right now, and that then you start to become isolated, because your actual reality with what's going on in terms of like your family, your relationships, your friendships, all of these kind of things, they kind of get forgotten about, because you're so focused on the reality over here that you're desperately wanting to create. Which again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to want to create those things, but I think there's a disconnect between accepting where you are, and I suppose it's what everyone always says, you've got to enjoy the journey and just accept where you are. But I do think it's hard sometimes when you're just constantly being presented this hustle sort of mentality, even though a lot of them promote, we're not doing hustle mentality anymore, you should take care of yourself. That in itself can be quite hustle mentality. You're constantly thinking, what else do I need to do to feel my best, and it's a constant state of doing and thinking that I need to do more, I need to fix myself, I need to do more, I need to practice self-care in order to get to this result. Whereas actually, I think the big message here is to fully accept where you are right now, and be okay with not being where maybe your dream is right now. I think there's a huge message to just being okay with where you are, and kind of, I guess a big fear of mine was being okay with being mediocre. I had this kind of like, I guess I still kind of have it sometimes, this fear of being mediocre and just being average. And I know that sounds really bad saying it out loud. I suppose to me it comes down to my limiting beliefs about myself, and not feeling good enough until I've achieved a certain goal or reached a certain point, and that by just staying where I am and just accepting where I am, and maybe not even hustling or working towards anything all of the time. I'm not saying that there's not going to be periods of time of my life where I do work towards things, but I think the biggest lesson that I've had most recently, because I've just been in a state of push and force and just constant working towards something, is it's almost like backfired and took me to a place of like, the universe has kind of shook me up and been like, you need to be okay with where you are, with everything that you've got right now, without just trying to get to the next point. Accept and fully be grateful and live in the moment, live in the life that you've actually created for yourself now. Because I can tell you right now, younger me 10 years ago would have dreamed to be where I am now. And I think the biggest lesson for me, and hopefully this is helping anyone who can kind of resonate, but the biggest lesson that I've realised is that I wasn't enjoying where I am now, because I was constantly trying to be over there, because I was looking at what everybody else had or where I wasn't yet, and taking that as a form of failure, and thinking that I'm not going to be successful until I reach this point, and it's got to look like this. And because I'm not there now, I can't enjoy where I am because I need to be at the next stage. And so the lessons, I guess, that I've had to learn, because the universe has literally just shook things up for me and literally pulled the rug from my feet of what I thought was completely stable. And I'm not going to go into the details of it. Maybe I will in a future video when I'm ready to talk about it. But the universe literally swept everything what I thought was stable in my life and swept it right out from me. And it was really, I had to really realise that the things and the people that I have in my life right now are so precious, and that I need to be grateful for everything that I've got right now and enjoy where I am right now, enjoy my life for everything that it is right now, for everything that I've created right now. I need to enjoy it. I need to fucking live my life and enjoy my fucking life, because it's amazing, because I'm alive and I've created so much already of what I would have killed for a few years ago. I remember, for an example, and I don't want to go off on tangents, but when I was at school, 15 years old, I'd never been abroad before, never, and I couldn't even imagine going abroad because I was always told it's too expensive. My mum and dad didn't want to go abroad with me because they were scared, and me and my sister couldn't afford to go on our own, and we didn't have the friends or the financial status to go anywhere abroad. So it was almost like a fantasy for me. Here I am at 28 and I've been to some incredible countries and had the best time in so many different places. And I feel so grateful to be able to say that. But I literally wasn't enjoying where I was because I was so focused on, I need to be better. I need to constantly work on myself. I'm not there yet. And I suppose what this video is about is that if you are somebody that resonates with you are a higher achiever, maybe a bit of a perfectionist, and you do have big goals and dreams for your life, which is amazing, and keep going for those goals. But I really just want to take this time to kind of talk to anyone that has been missing out on their actual life, and they feel like they've been working so hard and they never feel good enough for anything, and they constantly just feel like everyone else is out there living their life and they're constantly trying to work so hard to fix themselves or to become better. You are amazing just as you are right now. Just you, with everything that you've achieved in your life up until this point, you are incredible. And I want you to kind of really try and tap into who you are now and look at everything that you've achieved. Look at who you are right now and compare yourself to younger version you. Think of how many amazing things that you've managed to do and who you've become, the lessons that you've learned over time, and to be okay with just living your life right now as it is. Maybe it's not exactly where you would, where you dream, where you're visualizing your end goal, even though there is no end goal, but your dream life that you're working on creating, which is amazing. But it's okay to be here where you are right now. It's okay to not be there yet. No matter how many times you look on social media of people succeeding and building their dream life, it's okay if you're not there yet, because I'm not there yet either. But I'm so incredibly grateful for everything that I've got now, and I really just don't want anyone to kind of miss out on the life that they have, because ultimately I think, obviously, my big message overall on my YouTube channel is becoming the best version of you and achieving an incredible lifestyle and incredible goals and dreams, however still maintaining your mental health but still enjoying your life ultimately. Because I think there's no point in sacrificing your life and waiting to be happy, because it doesn't exist. You're never going to be happy when you get there if you're not happy right now. And I think that is the biggest thing I've had to learn, and I'm still learning. I'm not in any way, shape or form perfect, but I really am I really missed out a lot over the past few months because I was, I almost had a lot of things that I absolutely love go and leave and that I'd took for granted. And I think that was the biggest thing that shook me up, that I was like, I've been so focused and so in my head about getting to there that I've been missing everything that's here right now. Everything that I've got right now in my life, I've not even took any notice of because I've been so laser focused on getting to there. So in terms of like where I'm at now, I'm literally taking things right back to basics in terms of like my life and the goals that I'm having, and I'm really trying to focus my time and energy on just enjoying my days and not being focused on being super productive. Like that was such a big thing for me that I struggled with. As much as I told myself, oh, it's okay to not be productive, I still had so much negative thoughts about and guilt around not being productive, because again, I thought I was wasting my time if I wasn't always working on myself. If I was staying still, that means I was behind, and that means I'm not achieving my goals. So I constantly had to, or felt like I had to constantly push and push and push, and I really struggled with just being. And I suppose that's where I'm at now, where I'm really just taking my time, and I'm, there's days where I don't really get anything done, but it's actually allowed me to kind of look at my life as a whole and look at the things that I want to focus on and want to clear up. Like, sounds really silly, but like organising my home, I didn't even allow myself the time to just organise my stuff, like clear out old clothes that I didn't want anymore, and tidying things up, reorganising my home, reorganising my car, cleaning my car, and all of these kind of things that are in my physical life that I was so focused again on being over there and creating my future that I wasn't being present. So it's really allowed me to kind of work on my physical life right now in terms of like my home life, my relationships. I'm being there with my relationships, like my partner, I'm being there for him, my family, my friends. Like, it sounds silly again, but even replying to people on time and not taking so long to reply to them, and organising meetups with my friends, going out for coffee and just being a good friend. I wasn't giving myself the opportunity or time to even do that because I was so focused on other things. And there really is no point in sacrificing everything that you've got now, your friends, your family, your relationships or romantic partners, for a future goal or life that you can't enjoy. You're not going to be able to enjoy all of that life if you haven't maintained and got a good relationship with all the people that you love and adore now. You need to be there for them too. And I suppose that's what I really missed out on, because I was neglecting all of my relationships for this future version of me. Just general self-care, making sure I sleep more, which is always a hard task sometimes, but eating a good diet, making sure I'm eating lots of fruit and veg, cooking good meals. That's something that I wanted to do but never allowed myself the time because I thought it's a waste of time. Just feeling creative again, tapping into things I enjoy, my general hobbies, doing things for fun instead of just being productive, doing something that I enjoy with no goal at the end of it. I suppose like I'm just trying to really just enjoy my life where I am right now without needing to feel like I have to be working on my bigger goal. That will come. I think your bigger goals manifest themselves when you start looking after yourself. And I'm not saying that, I'm going to manifest everything that I want just because I take time out, but I think really I'm filling up my own cup now. I can still work on my goals without having to do it every single day and every single minute. I can take time out to enjoy my damn life. If you do resonate with this, don't feel bad if you're not If you don't feel like you're working towards your goals right now, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're behind. You're still on this journey, and it is a journey. You're not too old. You've not missed the boat. You're not behind on everybody else. You've got to do you, and you're doing your own timeline, and that's the biggest thing we need to remember. And that's kind of what I'm focusing on doing right now, just trying to just feel good day to day and do things that I enjoy and that make me happy, and getting to know myself again, like what I do want for my life, and clearing out the noise, I suppose, and just getting back to basics, just literally sorting my life out and feeling good in the process, looking after my mental health, and just enjoying myself. I've got quite a few fun trips coming up soon, so I'd really like to take you along and vlog. I think that could be quite fun. Just doing things for fun instead of just constantly feeling like, oh, it needs to get me somewhere, it needs to lead to something. It doesn't. You are okay with just being where you are. And I suppose that's the big message that I wanted to share with you today. So I'm sorry this is probably all over the place. There's no structure to this video whatsoever. I just wanted to talk about what I've been going through, and hopefully it's helped or resonated with anyone. If it has, please leave a message in the comments, or reach out to me if it has resonated with you. I think talking about these kind of things can really help. I really hope this video has helped, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.